Right now, without feeling a thing, you are being flung sideways at over 1,000 miles an hour. That is how fast the ground under your feet is spinning. And the only reason you don't notice is that everything around you, the air, the oceans, your coffee, is racing along with you at the exact same speed. So imagine the Earth stopped, not slowed, stopped all at once. Most people picture a peaceful pause, the world going still. The reality would be one of the most violent events the planet has ever seen, and the way it would kill would surprise you. It would not be the stillness that got you. It would be everything that refused to stop. By the end of this, you'll never think of solid, quiet ground the same way again. Because the stillness you feel right now is a lie your senses tell you, and the spin that lie is hiding is holding the whole world together. Start with the first second. The planet halts, but you don't, and neither does anything not bolted to bedrock. Remember, you are moving sideways at 1,000 miles an hour with the surface. When the surface stops, everything loose keeps going. In the same way a passenger lurches forward when a car slams its brakes, except 1,000 times worse. You, the air, the cars, the buildings, the topsoil would all be hurled sideways at the speed of a rifle bullet. In an instant, the surface would be scoured clean by a horizontal storm of everything that used to sit on it. That happens everywhere the planet is still moving fast, which is most of it. And that is only the beginning, because the loosest, heaviest thing of all is the ocean. The seas were spinning with the earth, too. When the ground stops, the water doesn't. All that ocean would keep tearing eastward with monstrous force, a wall of water racing over the continents, drowning everything in its path. The oceans would come loose from their beds and go sliding across the world. This is not a slow flood, it is the entire ocean thrown sideways at once. Then the air does the same thing. And this is the part that keeps going long after the water settles. The atmosphere keeps moving at that original speed, which means the planet would be raked by permanent, unimaginable winds, far stronger than any hurricane, sandblasting the surface. For a while, simply standing anywhere on Earth would be impossible. So that is the moment of stopping, total devastation. But suppose somehow you survived that first day. Suppose you were deep underground when it hit. You climb out into a new world. And that world is broken in ways that are quieter, but even more final. Start with the day itself. The Earth would still be circling the sun once a year, but no longer spinning on its own. So a single day would now last a full year. Roughly 6 months of relentless daylight, the sun crawling across the sky, baking one side of the planet, then 6 months of frozen total darkness on the other. One half roasts, the other half freezes solid, and slowly that same spot rotates into the light again as the planet orbits. There is no morning anymore. There is only a scorching half-year noon and a half-year midnight. Now the strangest change of all? The one almost nobody guesses. Without the spin, the oceans would not just move. They would relocate permanently and redraw the map of the world. Here is why. The Earth is not a perfect sphere. Because it spins, it bulges outward at the equator, like pizza dough spun in the air flinging itself wide. Our planet is fatter around the middle and slightly squashed at the poles, and that bulge is made partly of ocean water held there by the spin. This is the picture laid out in a well-known analysis by the geographer Witold Fracek, who worked through what a stopped Earth would actually look like. Take the spin away, and the bulge has nothing holding it out. The water would drain away from the equator and pile up where gravity now pulls it hardest, toward the two poles. The result is almost unrecognizable. The oceans would gather into two vast, deep polar seas, one around the north, one around the south. And in between, straight around the middle of the planet, a colossal ring of newly exposed, bone-dry land would rise up, wrapping the entire equator, a continuous megacontinent circling the Earth. The old coastlines would mean nothing. Land that was ocean floor for all of history would stand in dry sunlight, and that new ring of land would be no paradise. Stranded in the middle of the planet, far from either polar sea, most of it would be a bone-dry desert, cut off from rain, with the sun hanging in one punishing position for months at a time. The two polar oceans, meanwhile, would spread into cold, deep, sunless basins. The comfortable middle band of the Earth, where most people live today, the mild, watered, temperate world, would simply cease to exist. Every familiar coastline, every port city, every place a human being has ever built a life would be either buried under a new sea or stranded in a lifeless waste. But losing the spin costs you something you can't see at all, and it may be the deadliest loss of them all. It is invisible, it is silent, and without it, everything living on the surface is exposed. Deep inside the Earth, the spin helps stir a vast ocean of molten metal in the core. That churning is what generates the planet's magnetic field, the invisible shield that wraps the whole world. You never think about it, but that field deflects a constant stream of charged particles blasting off the sun, radiation that would otherwise strip away the air and sterilize the surface. Slow or stop the deep motion that helps power it, and that shield could weaken and fade. The sun's radiation would pour in unfiltered. The atmosphere itself over time could be stripped away into space, the way scientists believe happened long ago to Mars, a planet whose magnetic shield died and whose air bled out until it became the cold, dead desert we see today. Lose the spin, and Earth could slowly walk down that same road. Now breathe. None of this is going to happen. The Earth cannot simply stop. It has been spinning for over 4.5 billion years, and there is no force in the solar system that could halt it in an instant. In fact, the spin is changing, but in the gentlest way imaginable. The moon's pull is very slowly stealing a tiny bit of that spin, so our days are getting longer, by a few thousandths of a second per century. That is the real story, not a sudden stop. A slowing so slight that hundreds of millions of years from now, a day might be an hour longer than it is today. That is the pace nature actually works at. But the thought experiment leaves you with something real, and it is standing right under you. Everything you call stable, solid ground, calm skies, an ocean that stays in its basin is not stillness at all. It is motion, perfectly balanced. The steady map of continents, the daily sunrise, the shield in the sky, all of it is downstream of the 1,000-mile-an-hour spin you cannot feel. So the next time you stand on what seems like perfectly still, solid ground, remember what it really is. You are not standing still. You are riding a spinning world at over 1,000 miles an hour, and that spin is not what threatens you. It is the quiet engine holding your entire world in place. The stillness was always the lie. The motion is what keeps you alive.